For more now, I'm joined by Jonah Blank. He's a senior political scientist at the RAND Corporation, an institution that addresses policy and decision-making for companies and governments. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Great to see you. 5 years after Osama bin Laden's death, how strong is al-Qaeda today?
It's really just a shell of its prior self. It no longer is the existential threat that many considered it, perhaps wrongly, but in any case, it was considered a true threat to the very existence of Western values. Now it's almost a second-run organization after ISIL.
But it still has been wreaking some havoc, like the Charlie Hebdo attacks, obviously slayings in West Africa. Are these merely splintered groups?
What al-Qaeda has done ever since 9/11 has been to work through franchises. For example, al-Qaeda in Iraq, which eventually became ISIL, started out as a franchise of al-Qaeda. What is sometimes called big al-Qaeda has not launched a successful terrorist operation at anything like that level in about 15 years.
We all remember that day 5 years ago when Osama bin Laden was killed. Everyone has asked, should he have been captured and tried? I mean, that's the big question. Could they get him that way?
Well, they could have gotten him back in all likelihood, and the U.S. judicial system could have tried him. After all, the first attack on the World Trade Center, which occurred in 1993, led to trials and convictions for all of the key plotters who are right now living in the Supermax Federal Penitentiary in Colorado. However, President Obama very much wanted to get the 9/11 plotters tried in America. Right now, all of them are in Guantanamo Bay. Not one of them has been convicted or tried. It was Congress that blocked all of those efforts, and that doesn't seem likely to change. And that was the primary reason, in my view, that bringing him to trial was not a likelihood.
We now have the rise of ISIL seeming to fill this vacuum of al-Qaeda's influence. And as we've mentioned, all these offshoot organizations and little cells, like what we saw what happened with the Boston bombing, and there have been others.
There have been. And unfortunately, this is ISIL's method of operation, to take credit for anything that happens around the world, and in some cases, like in the Brussels attack and in the Paris attack, to actually plan it from Syria. So it's a combination of central planning and let 1,000 flowers bloom. And that really is a pretty effective plan right now that has a lot of countries figuring how to respond.
Also, obviously, very sophisticated social media and how they've been able to reach people and rally people.
Yes. Al-Qaeda never really tried to recruit in non-Muslim societies. ISIL has tried very hard and been very successful, and it's particularly in working with the diaspora communities throughout Europe and throughout the world. Al-Qaeda never really trusted not only non-Muslims or converts to Islam, it didn't even trust people who weren't Arabs.
We've now seen people, Jonah, that or countries that are working together that you never would think would be these strange bedfellows, you know, trying to wipe out ISIL. What more can be done?
Well, ISIL's threat is two-pronged. It has to control territory to have its legitimacy. That's a threat that has to be countered with the military. But it also operates as a terrorist group, much like Al-Qaeda. And that's a threat that has to be countered with intelligence and with police and homeland security forces.
All right, Jonah Blank with the RAND Corporation, thank you. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.